All right. Good afternoon, people. Sorry I couldn't make it at one. Um, Four issues we're going to discuss today. I'm not necessarily call them issues, just four things that we kind of need to want to go over, and and let everybody kind of catch up on some things here. Number one, we're going to start with the sheriff's department, since we dealt with that there on the last podcast with the $350,000 that was transferred from the general fund into the sheriff's medical and dental particular line items. I did a little bit of research on this here, talked to some people, and what we've gathered is this here. When you're incarcerated, and I'm going to use the term here, and I'll use it throughout probably, called 1129, it means you're going to be in jail for less than a year, 11 months, 29 days. When that happens, if you are on any kind of medical, this government supplied, let's say, for instance, if you're on Obamacare, well, what happens with that there is while you are incarcerated, your insurance services are actually suspended during that time frame. If you're an employee somewhere and your employer terminates you, then one of the things that you're going to lose is going to be insurance. So very few people would actually be entitled to have insurance while they're there, and that's probably somebody who's purchasing a separate plan, or maybe may have some kind of retirement insurance, even military for that matter, like with TRICARE. So that's where the issue happens. And by law, the county is required to provide medical services and dental services. Now, some of the other things that I found along the way here when I was doing this research, I'm trying to get as much information as possible. There is those who are incarcerated inmates are actually they're charged for services. They're charged for medical for medicine as well. And what's happening is, that kind of helps offset it some. But from what I gathered, to start the year, they had an inmate that had some serious medical concerns, and within a couple of months was already absorbing a large substantial chunk of the budgeted money that was there. So this here is, we are required by law to do this here. So that's the reason that we're seeing that $350,000 pushed over there into that department, into that line item to help them out with that. Now, we may get more information along the way. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. If we do, we'll definitely catch you guys up on it. But yes, there is, like I said, inmates do pay for medicines. Inmates do pay for certain things if they have the financial ability to do so. Money's whatever money, I don't know what they would call it, but if a family member donates money, I'm assuming it's like a commissary or something. That money is used for it. So that's where that is with that there, to catch you guys up on from the last podcast where we didn't have information. And like I said, if we find out any more information, we'll definitely share that. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is the Lexington Utilities, which seems to be, we talk about Lexington Utilities quite often. I've been hearing things, people's been reaching out to me, been watching posts. I know there's been some posts shared on our page as well, in regards to a change in their automated billing services. And I went back through, I think through the first part of November to look to see, and I didn't see a whole lot put up on the Facebook page. I do not have automated, we pay our bill monthly. We get a paper bill every month. So I don't know, from what I've gathered, talking to a couple of people who do automated payments to electric systems, it's a paperless system, so they don't receive a bill. And from what I gathered, they haven't received, people I talked with never received anything letting them know that the automated service was changing over. And, now we've got people who are actually behind on paying their utility bills, not by fault of their own. It's, if you think about something here, I'm sure that we'll hear the excuse that, they should know to pay the bill. Well, if they don't know what the bill is, how are they supposed to pay it? What do you used to? Just send them $1,000. What the heck? Who cares? If you're billing people for a service, and then that's part of your part of the service is to provide them a bill so they know how much to pay you. Well, then provide them a bill, figure something out. Whatever that may be, I don't know. You know, it seems the ball gets dropped quite often here. And now what I was told was they're not going to hit a late fee on this here. And one of the things that I read on the paper and one of the Facebook posts is they're not doing it. I think last week they put up a post about the automatic with the system with the automated billing system not being transferred. You know, that's fine and dandy. I mean, trust me, I like social media because it's a great medium to get information out. But it's not everyone is on social media. You know, there's people out there that don't even have internet service. You know, it's not because it's not available, but some people don't even have a computer system. That's, you know, they just don't want to be on it, and that's fine. So, you know, understand that's they need to figure out a better way to do things. I think one of the biggest problems, personally, I believe is happening here is everything is farmed out now. Everything is done outside of the departments. They hire outside sources to do all this work, and you know, it's not the greatest way to do business. I mean, one of the things is, I mean, you know, we pay a lot of money, and what I'm having a hard time understanding is how were we able to do all of this in the past, and not so distant past, but now we have to send everything out, and we've got more employees than we've ever had, and you know, this is something that should be pretty simple to be able to collect a bill, and to be able to bill. So, you know, I don't have an answer to it. I'm sure we'll get some excuse at the next meeting, because I'm sure at some point in time frame somebody's going to bring it up, and that's going to be, maybe they'll get addressed. So, but anyway, that's what's going on with it is apparently not everybody has received notification. If you have not received notification and you're on automated billing, you need to call Lexington Utilities for your benefit. I agree that it should be their responsibility. If they're providing you a service and billing you as part of the service, then they need to be making sure they're providing that service as well. Unfortunately, that's not how things work. So if you are involved in that there with automated billing, you've got problems, you haven't seen your bill, make sure you call to find out about it. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is a couple of weeks ago, we had a post put up about the dogs down there in Scotts Hill, and I know we've touched base on this here, and I'm not going to jump back in there. At the end of last week, we had another post popped up, and this here is cats being dropped off at a person's house, and they're willing to take care of them, but they're on a fixed income, Social Security, and it's you know, it costs a lot of money to feed cats, so they've asked for our assistance with help with food. I believe kit and caboodle is what they're looking for. And also with spay neuter cost. Now, and I'm a huge believer in spay neuter, especially when we're dealing with strays. That's how we can somewhat keep in check the population. But, you know, unless you, I don't know how to say this here, unless you're a breeder, I mean, fixing your cat or dog is a very, very intelligent thing to do. Let me tell you, I'll give you something too. I don't know what the numbers are anymore. I haven't paid attention to it in years, but you may find this kind of funny, but it's not. You know, testicular cancer in male dogs is a cause of death. I mean, and it's a pretty high rate. You know, fixing them is actually it's a health benefit to them. You know, when you start looking at these things here, you know, it's not anything inhumane by no means. You're actually trying to, you know, you're saving their lives and prolonging their lives. You know, I get it. I mean, some guys out there, oh, I won't do that to my dog. Yeah, it's not about doing it to your dog. You're actually going to save your dog's life. I mean, so, you know, when you're looking at this here, don't listen to all the old, oh, this is, you know, it's just not the right thing to do, or this and that. You know, it's a proven positive, and plus it will help us so we don't have to deal with so many strays out there. Anyway, Sandy, if you're listening here, you know, like I said, your post is up. We shared that there to get information, and I've actually had one of my customers that came in the other day when they paid they gave extra money, and I'll take and make sure I get that to you. I don't know if you want to do that for food, or if you want to do it for the spay neuter side of things. I can take and run up to Doc Davis and bring it to you. But any of you guys here is interested in helping out, I know she's asking for kit and caboodle. We're more than happy to take it at Pretty Paws Grooming, or I can get you in contact with Sandy. Just reach out to me, or you can give me a call, text at 731-307-8408. I'll be more than happy to help facilitate that happening. And I think this is going to be another situation where, like with the last one, we've kind of established at this point a community type organization that's going to help out with these dogs and shelters when we deal with issues like we dealt with down there at Scotts Hill. You know, maybe this is something where we can take and maybe do the same thing. The one thing too, I want to make sure that we're paying attention to, that we're not. I don't know how to say this here. The Hensley Center relies heavily on donations, and we don't want to take we don't want to spread it out too far where we don't have where we start dropping the ball there. Because they provide a lot more services than what most other people would be able to do. So we're going to have to figure out a way to take and organize this to make it a little bit more efficient, and maybe create a better community organization that can actually handle this here and moving forward. But being a dog lover, a cat lover, this is what we do for a living. And we don't do it because of the money. I mean, that's not it at all. If we did, I mean, we would open a lot more hours. We would work a lot harder. We do it because we truly have a passion for it. And I don't know. Some people don't look at animals the same. But most of the people that I know, your babies. I mean, that's your kids. That's your family. So when you look at animals and you think about animals, there's people out there who don't just look at them as a piece of property that they own. That's their children. And animals, when you look at the behavioral side of things, that's pretty much what they are. As their children, and they grow up at some point in time, and and even when they grow up, their mentality level stays around that of a child. And hey, you know what? That's there's nothing wrong with that. There, it is a wonderful, wonderful. When you have that unconditional love, and you have a true chance to feel it, they're family. That's a lot of people I know that are that way, and maybe that's how we attune our business to is having people understanding that. But anyway, that's we need to work on that there. Sandy is dealing with cats, and when you're dealing with cats, it's a lot different than dealing with dogs. So if you feel if you feel like you'd want to make a donation to help out there, I'm sure she would greatly appreciate it. And we may have other people here looking as well, and maybe we just need to create some kind of organization here to offer a different side here for people who are actually willing to rescue on their own. So if you want to do that there, definitely do that. Now I'm going to go in a little bit off the script here from that conversation, but I am going to talk about pets because we are in the holiday season right now. And people will get pets. And then what'll happen is they're cute. Oh, it's that, how much is that puppy in the window? It's so adorable. It's so cute. It's fluffy. It's got that sweet puppy breath. And then 6 months later, or 2 months later, or a month later, or a week later, you get a puppy in the house and they're going through and they're chewing on everything. Well, you know what? That's what puppies do. They're teething. No different than a child. What I'm going to tell you is this here, and I'm going to say this kind of with a little bit of aggressiveness. If you don't think you can be a parent for the life of that dog or that cat, do not get it. Period. It's not, they are like children. And if you are okay with just casting a child aside, God forbid you. This is a living, breathing animal. This is God's creation. So you know what? If you want to look at an animal as property, then I'm sad to say that's a very bad way to look at things. But think twice before you start getting a puppy. Think twice before you start getting a kitten if you're not willing to make that lifelong commitment. And I'm looking up here, and I've got customers of mine up here right now, and I'm sure they would attest to the same thing. This is, it is a commitment, and I'm not trying to promote my business by no means, but you know what? Grooming is part of it. Veterinarian service is part of it. Proper diet's part of it. There's so much involved with them, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of energy. And if you can't commit to that there, then, think twice. Anyway, we're going to move on to that and to the last thing. And what this is about is we are in campaign season. Boy, it is ramping up pretty hot and heavy. I noticed that we got a 5th candidate that has come out for the sheriff right now, and I've seen at least one mayor candidate come out there. So here's the deal. At some point, more than likely during the Christmas break, I will be, for the candidates that have picked up papers at that point in time frame, I'll take and I'll send out invites. Some people, I won't know who they are, won't know how to contact them. This is an open invitation coming right now for any candidate, or if you know somebody who's running, and you would like to have them come on the Hidden Agenda and do the question and answers like we've done in the past. They are more than welcome. All they have to do is reach out to me. Again, my number is 731-307-8408, or they can message me directly on Facebook. So if you are, or you know someone who is a candidate and they would like to get up here and answer questions, and on top of that there, if you're a candidate and you have advertising information, share it on Facebook or website or something, feel free to come on the page and share your information. What this is about is, if you do videos, share the video. That's fine. This page is probably, I'm going to say, through probably May 5th is going to be ramped up pretty heavy with looking at candidates for quite a few seats, because we've got, I don't know, we're going to probably end up somewhere in the neighborhood of about 20 seats, maybe even more than that. I'm not sure exactly how many seats are going to be open. It may be bordering 30, but there's going to be a lot of seats open, a lot of people running, and then you got to think about it. Let's just say that I'm going to say 25. We'll meet in the middle, say 25 seats, and 3 people are running for each seat. Well, there's 75 people. That's a whole lot more than what we dealt with the city. So you're going to see a lot of advertisements coming across the page. And for those who want to get on the podcast, we're going to have a lot more podcasts. With that in mind, and I've already had one person to reach out. I talked to one sheriff candidate and another candidate who has actually reached out and is definitely wanting to be on the podcast sometime first part of January. Well, I'm going to say probably middle January, based on my scheduling. Kind of lost my train of thought there. We're going to start, like I said, this is going to start picking up pretty hot and heavy. With that there, when these candidates come on, obviously we're going to be doing live, so you'll be able to ask questions there. But what we need is, for each position, we're going to need people asking questions. Now, obviously, once we start announcing candidates, because there's 5 different candidates, you may have questions for each, different questions for each one of the candidates for the sheriff's race. But we do need to get a certain amount of questions that we want to have that we can ask all of the candidates. So, start thinking of those there. We'll put a post up, and we'll start asking. We'll probably have to make multiple posts and let you guys start asking questions, for the sheriff candidates, for the commissioner candidates, for the clerk's candidates, all these different candidates. Will allow you to come in here and have questions for any of those who do desire to come on the Hidden Agenda and share their campaign pitch. That's pretty much everything I've got tonight. I'm not going to make this a long one, thank God. By all means, people, please stay safe in this cold weather. I'm going to tell you, this morning when I got out around about 5:30, that wind was whipping, and it was tough. And it ain't gotten a whole lot better. It's dangerous out there. If you do have animals outside, please figure out a way to get them inside, or get them somewhere into shelter, something where they can stay warm. This is some bad stuff. If you know of anybody that's homeless or needs anything, please, work into that there. Matter of fact, let me look. I don't know if anything has been put out by EMA about let's see here. I don't know if they've got warming centers and stuff. I'm assuming they do. Henderson County EMA. Emergency management. No, nothing is actually on the EMA site. Let me look on the county site to see if there's anything. So I'm not sure why they are not opening up a warming center in this extremely cold weather we're having for the next couple of days here. No, I don't see anything posted on either one of those sites. So I don't know. Maybe that's a question that you can inquire of the mayor. That's, I don't know. Anyway, please, like I said, stay safe. If there's anybody out there that's in dire need or anything, give me a call. I'll do everything I can to help out. And I'm sure there's others who will as well. But I appreciate you guys coming in and listening. As always, this page is kind of, it really has grown and taken on its own life, and it's doing some good for the community. I know some people argue that there and say that we bring a lot of negativity out, and we do. We deal with the real problems that we face. There's plenty of pages, there's plenty of posts out there of all the positive stuff that you want to see. I mean, you can get your balance here, but we're trying to deal with the issues, and we're trying to help people, and that's our focus, and that's what we'll maintain that focus, at least while I'm here. But anyway, you guys have a warm and safe night, and a wonderful week coming ahead. And like I said, we'll see you before Christmas. We'll be back on, if not sooner, we'll definitely be back on the 23rd after the city meeting on the 22nd. All right. Take care, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.